Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all this evening. Hope you're having a great night. Rep your city, rep your city. We got Naptown in the building and the beautiful and gorgeous Alexis. We have New York City in the building. We have Fresno in the building, better known as No Town. We got the great city of Atlanta in the building. Everybody at Kick, what's going on? I'm representing the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Everybody at Twitch, everybody on YouTube, and everybody on Facebook. Good to see you all. We have Atlanta, Georgia in the building. We have Buffalo in the house. We got the beautiful and gorgeous Nicole in the building representing Woodbridge. Looking just as cute as she want to be. We got New Jersey in the house. We got Chicago in the building. We got the DMV in the house. Everybody come in. Positive energy all the time. Positive energy all the time. I appreciate you all and all your support. And hopefully I'm bringing you a wide variety of information that you're finding interesting and sometimes entertaining. It's a hard job, but somebody got to do it. And at my age, I'll be 70 in 2 years, a little over 2 years. So at my age, it's really a pleasure to talk to a lot of much younger people and to some older brothers and sisters that get encouragement from seeing me over here. It's a big encouragement for them. And I hope it encouraged some of you older brothers and sisters to really get involved with social media, okay? Social media is what you make it. And if you have a bunch of negativity, then you need to have a bunch of positivity to try to balance it out, okay? Try and balance it out. Come and let everybody know your point of view, how you thinking. Respect the variety of opinions. And if you see some opinion that you don't agree with, rather than argue on that person's social media, go on your social media and tell your point of view. You don't even have to tell Israel, because I've seen a person, they said, go to the left, go to the right. I believe we should go to the right and go up and down. Beautiful. So go express your point of view on your social media to make it way more interesting and a lot more information. Right? No need to argue. Go on your social media and let it go. Let it rip. Get it all off your chest how you see things. So if you know, a lot of times, people say, I watch you. I don't agree with everything you say. Right. And what you don't agree with, you need to get on your social media and you need to tell your point of view. If you don't want to show your face, don't. You can still go without showing who you are. But I would say if you're not too controversial or nothing, show them who you are. Just don't say nothing at your job. You know, hey, speak your mind, but just make sure whatever you say won't be a problem at your job. Hey, you're good to go. We need more voices because the powers that be got ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox. They got all the media. And so the only way that you regular people like me, the only way we could do anything is we all have to talk to compete with the powerful media. We all have to talk. We all have to talk to compete with them. And you younger people, y'all ain't scared. Y'all talking and talking and talking. So I watch. I get a big kick out of the younger people. It's very exciting. It's gonna if you could save it, it's gonna be interesting. You know how you see a young brother on there and he's talking crazy and he's like 23. That's still a good thing because hopefully he'll be on some type of social media when he's 33 and be like, man, I remember when I was talking crazy. Yeah, I think we the same age. Was both around Sunrise. Oh man, Sunrise would tear this up. Oh boy. If Sunrise was here and I could get Sunrise on here. The beautiful Shelly is here representing Richmond, Virginia. Look out for her. I'm gonna get her on my album. She can sing. I mean, she can sing, sing, sing. I kid you not. I don't know why she just don't record some music and put it out. Now the way they got it, she could do that. She don't have to change her life or nothing. She can record right at home now and package it up and put it out. She don't have to do all that work we used to have to do. Man, she could blow. I kid you not. So yeah, Target cut 1,800 corporate jobs. 1,800 corporate jobs. I don't, you know. And they cut DEI. But the problem with DEI, the problem with diversity, the problem with equal rights have always been that when you look at diversity, you look at men, you look at women, you look at minorities, you look at blacks, like that. And there was always a problem with equality because they always went and got 2 for 1, and they always went and got black women, and that accounted for black and women. And so the black man has always been cheated in this society. The black man has always been cheated. And it's not the black woman's fault because the black woman can't concentrate because she got the children. You see? The black woman got the children. So brothers be blaming black women. They don't know what they talking about. Black women got the children. They can't really concentrate on social issues. Women don't get free until their children like 24. Listen, women don't get no chance to think outside of the box until their children is 24 years old. So it's really unfair to really ask a lot of the women when it comes to being socially aware Because raising children is something else. And I know you're going to say, well, the man and the woman can raise their children. Let me tell you something. Children don't really mess with daddy. These are facts. Daddy is like a amusement park. Let's go play with daddy. But children do not mess with daddy. These are facts. I used to be a child, and me and my sister, and the only one we really messed with was my mother. We love my daddy, don't get me wrong. We love my daddy dearly, but it's just different. You know, mommy is the one. Daddy and mommy is two different type of beings. Daddy is as close to you as he can get, but he didn't give birth to you. You understand? And so all my children, I love my children, but I could never be as close to them as their mother. I can never have the attachment of a woman that go into labor and push that baby out. And when these women push that baby out, they got them. We don't have them. Babies are very uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable with babies, newborns. When they can move around, yeah. But newborns, I don't know if I know me, I'm uncomfortable with a newborn baby. I feel awkward. I don't feel like I have the delicacy to deal with a baby. I always feel like I could drop it. Maybe it's just me. But you know, I've got 6 children, and every time a woman have it, and then she passes it to me, I look at it and I hurry up and give it back. You know, I be like, I like looking at it and I love the baby, but I can't. I hurry up and give it back. Here, I'm not really comfortable with them until they can kind of stand up a little bit and move. Then I'm very comfortable. But when they first born, that first week, that first month, I'm not really comfortable with little babies until they can look like they play a little bit. When they can get where they can push up and down now, yeah. But when they really little like that, I'm not really comfortable. So women, there's only so much they can do for society because they're mothers and their whole society is based on the babies. Basically, that's their whole world is the children. Any man knows, you know, you're second to the children. Point blank, period. Any man, a father, wants to be second to the children. They want to be the children and mommy, then me. You want that relationship to be mommy and the children, not mommy, daddy, and the children. That's not really realistic, and that never really happens like that. If you're a man and you have a child and you have 2 daughters, you know, you're not going to experience the natural way the family goes because it's always mommy and the children. My mother had a girl and a boy, it's mommy and the children. And when the boy gets a certain age, that's when he bonds to daddy. Daughter never really does. She's still up under mommy. The boy, when he gets a certain age, he starts to kind of be more interested in daddy. He has less and less interest in mommy. and a lot of interest in daddy. And daddy has a lot of interest in him because he need to get out here and cut this grass, shovel this snow, you know. So daddy has a lot of interest in you too when you get a certain age. Okay, he got stuff for you to do. Okay, you don't get to be like your sister. Your sister and your mommy, they in the house. But if you a certain age, I'd be damn if daddy finna go out there and shovel that snow and you gonna be sitting up watching cartoons. You finna come out there and do something. Daddy's not gonna go out there and rake them leaves, and you gonna go get the garbage bags. You're gonna be the errand boy. Go get them garbage bags for me. Bring them out. Hold it open. Hold it, boy. Hold it. You're letting all the leaves fall out. You know, you're a little boy. You tried. You know what I mean? And, you got it. You got it. You know. When I was a little boy, I was the errand boy. When my daddy did stuff, he needed me to be there. Because I'm the one got to run up and down the stairs. Go down there and get me a Phillips head screwdriver. Go down there and get me, you know. Go down there and get my hammer. And that was my job, to go bring him stuff back and watch and see what he do with it. Basically. So when it comes to the situation with us trying to stand up, women do a pretty good job seeing that they got children. But the men need to be a little more active in the demands that we be having from the system. I see too many women are way more active than the men when it comes to standing up. And they shouldn't have to do that. They already got the children. And so they had the DEI, and the DEI was one-sided because they played us, because they used us 2 for 1, and 1 woman equal 2. So they get a woman, and now they can fill the woman position and the man position. So they really didn't have to hire a lot of people with DEI. They was able to cheat with black women. Black women wasn't aware they was doing that. So then they got slick and started cheating with Asian women, Hispanic women, and pushed the black women to the curb and made DEI other women and pushed her to the curb. So we never really dealt with that correctly. And looking back, I was born in 1958. Looking back, the biggest mistake we made as foundational Black Americans is we didn't build no type of economic unity. The only economic unity we had was at the church. The church was the only place we would all go and give money, but we never built no type of economic unity. We were always separate. You get your money, your car, your house, you get yours, you get yours. We never built no economic unity. That put us in a position where we always had to beg for jobs, basically. The only businesses that we had that could have liberated us if we would have built onto that with more businesses, beauty shops. We had barbershops, but like here in Chicago, there's 7 black beauty shops for every 1 black barbershop. The women was getting it. They was getting it doing the hair. They was getting it. And so DEI, Target went and said, we're going to get rid of DEI. And when they said that, Foundation of Black Americans boycotted. And the boycott was strong. Super strong. The boycott was strong, and business goes like this. If people get used to going to a different store, they might not never come back. So Foundational Black Americans never went back to Target. You know, every time I talk about Target, I kind of feel a little bit like I dropped the ball. Because all my life, anything we stood on, I stood on except Target. I didn't do the Target boycott. And the reason I didn't do the Target boycott is because we had dropped the ball so many times that we really wasn't taking boycott serious. So when I seen Foundational Black Americans said it was going to boycott Target, I was like, yeah, right. The same way you boycotted the NFL, right? And so the weak boycott for Kaepernick for the NFL and the way brothers ran to watch their favorite football team regardless kind of threw me off and made me lose hope. Because the brothers was a disgrace for that. They went on ahead and chased the NFL like that instead of turning it off. And I turned it off, and I was one of the few brothers that turned it off. And all the other brothers were still watching. And the bad thing about it is, you know, when you got a sports team, they have good years, they have bad years. And you wait a long time as a fan to have a good year. And this was one of the Bears' best years, and I didn't watch it, thinking that the brothers was going to ride, but the brothers didn't. They turned the football game right on. And Jay-Z said, you know, talking about taking a knee and all that. Next thing you know, he was working for him. He sold us out. Jay-Z sold us out, and they gave him a job. He got that job providing them the entertainment for the Super Bowl during that period when he sold us out. He sold us out, and they said, good boy, and they gave him that position. It's a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourself. He sold us out. And so when the Target thing came, I didn't take it serious. You know what I'm saying? And so I had a friend I was talking to on the phone, and they kept talking about the Target, and like I had just came back from Target, right? You know, I was out, you know, I would go to a big store and get my food. And then if I needed something like onions or something small, I would run to Target and get it. So I wouldn't have to go to Whole Foods. So I was still going to Target. But I had a friend of mine say the boycott and all that. So then when I started going to Target, I was noticing I was the only black person. And I'm like, I think these people looking at me crazy. You know, I'm cooning in here. You know what I'm saying? I totally dropped the ball with that one. I ain't gonna lie. One thing I'm gonna keep it honest. If I mess up, hey, I messed up. So I dropped the ball on Target, but I was very proud of y'all. Y'all stood on business, and my little money didn't make no difference. So that was really good. Y'all held me down, right? You understand? See, you don't listen well. You don't listen well. You know, got to learn how to listen. Like I said, it wasn't about me going to Target. I didn't believe you all was going to boycott. You don't listen. Learn to listen. Brothers, stop being so challenging and want to challenge before you comprehend. Eric, you have a tendency to want to challenge me before you even comprehend what I'm saying. I didn't say I went to Target because they messed with us. I said I went to Target because I didn't believe you all was going to boycott. Okay? You understand? I didn't believe you all was going to boycott. It had nothing to do with, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe you all was going to stand. You ain't never stood on nothing. What was going, I didn't believe you all was. I was not going to be the only one. Listen, I'm 67. Many times I've been the only one standing up, one of the few for years. You get tired of standing up and everybody else don't. Facts. So it had nothing to do with me liking Target anything. I did not believe that the brothers and sisters was going to stand on nothing. I didn't believe it. That's why I kept going. I said, man, I'm not doing no more fake boycotts with y'all. And there's been plenty. Don't make me go name them all. I already named one, the NFL. How'd that turn out? Remember Kaepernick in the NFL? It didn't turn out so well. How did the black women don't buy hair a couple months ago? I never heard nothing else back from it. Huh? What happened to the black women don't buy hair? They talked about it 2 days before it was time, and once it's time, you heard anything? How did that work out? I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything about that. I think that failed too. I think that flopped too. I think that flopped too. I can name a bunch of them. They all flop. Look at the reparations movement. How's that going? You don't look so strong to me. You don't look so strong to me. You know, one thing, Eric, on social media, people say anything. So that's not necessarily written in stone. You might be telling the truth. You might be lying. Just because you type that don't mean nothing. What that mean? People to say anything on social media. Everybody not honest like me. Listen, I could have come right on here and say I stood with the boycott, just like he's saying. I could have came right here and said, yeah, I could say the same thing. I could have said, I didn't have to tell y'all that. I could have told you, yeah, and we did a boycott and I was with it. So the fact I could have lied means that you could be lying. Okay? You think our current delineation is setting the stage for reparation? Our current delineation seems like it's setting the stage to argue on Twitter, on X. It doesn't really seem to be. It doesn't seem to be nothing but ridiculous arguing. Much love, Carol, for the super sticker. So, you all did a great job. That's my point. You did a great job. I'm very proud of you. You did a great job. Y'all held it down. Y'all didn't go. This is like one of the best ones I see. You understand? So we did really well with the Target boycott. I think y'all did great. And you did so great that they end up in a bad situation now. They had to get rid of a bunch of their employees because you all did such a great job. They never got the money back. Now, some of this does have to do with a flopping economy too. But if you already ran away a bunch of your clientele and you have a failing economy behind that, you'll never recover. So what Target made their mistake, they ran away foundational Black Americans and lost a lot of business, not knowing that the economy was going to tank right behind that. So they're not able to recover. They're not able to recover because they took a loss and then another loss. So they're really hurting. Their timing was off. They didn't know that the economy was about to crash. So they ran away a lot of customers and then turn around, the economy crash. And then when you run away the customers and the economy crash, they sure not going to come back. When the money get tight, they not going to come spend it with somebody that won't hire them. And I don't know what made them think that you can get rid of, stop hiring Blacks and put products out, all the Black products they put out there out. Like the vegan sister had her products in there and they took all her products out. What make you think that you could get rid of foundational Black American products and don't sell them no more, and they would still come and shop with you like that? And they didn't. Now, one mistake Target made is making a decision based on cities like Chicago, like that. Because Chicago's a big city, so there's a Target right there, and there's that and that and that. But in smaller places, the same amount of time it take you to drive to Target, take you to drive to another store. So it's a lot, they're going to lose way more money. See, in Chicago, Target could be close and the other stores could be far. Costco's could be far and Target could be close. So you might still get a little business. But when you live in more rural areas of smaller cities, the Target and the Costco's in the same area. So let's take me. If I was in an area where I went and Target and Costco's was both there, I would have went to Costco's. If I was in the area, only thing was there is Target. There wasn't no Costco's. I would have to go far to find a Costco. I would have to go far to find a Walmart. So, but in other places, those are going to be in their little shopping center. And then when people go to that little shopping center, they're going to go to the other stores. They're not going to go to you. And that's where they lost a lot of their money at. That's what Target lost a lot of money, because they're right next to their competitors. So that's where they lost. They lost a lot of money. A lot. Let's take a break. The Trump situation, the Trump shooting was too flim-flamsy for me to take it serious. It was too much weird stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So I try to stay away from conspiracies like that. You know, I don't put any energy into conspiracies like that. But he does have a lot of he has a lot of serious enemies, so there's no doubt about that. He definitely got a lot of enemies. He's done a lot of dirt to a lot of politicians, for sure. And they got all the time in the world. We're gonna see how that plays out. But now Target's got to let all these people off, and these people that they letting off, that they let go, is corporate. Target said Thursday that it's cutting 1,800 roles across the company, or roughly 8% of its corporate workforce. It marks the largest round of layoffs at the company in a decade. The retailer is fighting to get back to growth and poised to get a new CEO in February. So they're really looking to replace the CEO. And that's because the CEO made a mistake. The way they did the DEI thing and all that. A lot of companies that got on that MAGA bandwagon are going to go out of business. You see, when you're doing business, you don't choose the side because your customers is on both sides. So when you're doing business, you stay neutral. You don't do politics. You understand? You don't do politics when you got a business. You stay out of it. You stay neutral. Because that's not what you are. You're just a business. You're not a political organization. And Trump is cutting funds on people, and there's definitely a misuse of power going on with him. That'll all blow up in his face. He's definitely a rogue president, and he's misusing his power totally, like 1,000,000,000%. Only totally unprofessional people that knows nothing about politics would condone his behavior. His behavior is like you in Nazi Germany or something. You just can't send ICE to democratic cities. I mean, a lot of this stuff is really illegal in every sense of the word, like criminal. For a president of the whole country to just like only pick one side that's ridiculous. That's a straight up criminal. The worst president in history, in U.S. history, Donald Trump. He's the worst. He's the worst. His supporters are the worst too. The supporters are totally politically slow. It's like a bunch of people that don't understand U.S. politics, basically. Like just regular people that just support on a whim. They're not political. They're just like fans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's amazing that it's allowed to even function like this at all. This is how countries fall. He'll destroy the country. He'll destroy the place. America will be broke. His family will have money. His friends will have money. But the country will be flat broke. And all they'll do is go move to Europe or something and just leave you here desolate. They basically got a dictator in there, which is just unheard of. Nothing that America stands for is. He even turned down the White House like a landmark. He wants who remodels a landmark. The idea of a landmark is to keep it exactly like that. He done tore up the White House, tore it up. Embarrassing. He's embarrassing. And the Republicans, they all look like flunkies. Nobody, they don't have no backbone. So all the people in his party, they look spineless. Who's gonna listen to them? They let that man, he's running over them more than he's running over the Democrats. He's running over the Republican Party. He's treating them like they little kids. He's like, you don't got no say so. You know what I mean? Crazy. I've been talked about that. They got to have age limits. He's too old. He's too old. He might do anything. He just wake up and do something. And so Target's taking a big hit, and the rest of the country is taking a big hit too. All of the businesses and everything, the economy is tanking like never before. And if you know anything about economics, you know that once it tanks so bad, if it goes down 60, it takes 60 to come up. So we're looking at months and months before they can fix this. So you're looking at a horrible November, December, January. I mean, this can't be turned around until July, maybe June, maybe by the time summer come, maybe it could be turned around for summer vacation or something. But it's all downhill. It's all downhill. Christmas sales are definitely going to be down because people don't even got no food. He cut off Link. Link is cut off. You cut off Link. You cut off food stamps for Thanksgiving. You can't make this stuff up. You made it. You made it where people can't get their food for Thanksgiving. And see, racism is ruining white America because they're being lied to, thinking that we're get the most welfare when they get the most welfare. So now, in many of these white rural areas, they're trying to give out food. I watched one place where they give out food. They say it usually be like 25 cars. It's 50. It's going to be 100, 200 cars. Everything he's doing is going to hurt white Americans more than us. They're going to be devastated. It's going to take this to find out that they're the ones on welfare. It's all going to come out. On the 4th, when all these white Americans don't get their food stamps, it's going to be like the book of Revelation. That's when America's going to see, oh, wow, we're the ones on welfare. Duh. Duh. You're the ones on welfare. You're doing the most crimes. You're doing the most unaliving. You're doing the most embezzling, scandals, stealing, way more than us. Way more. It's all going to come out in the wash. We'll be all right. We brothers that drive trucks and stuff like that, they'll just have to be going down south getting food, bringing it to the black community. That's all. And we open back up our fruit stands, and we'll go back to the 50s and the 60s. We'll go back to the 60s. We'll have fruit stands in our community. We'll have greens. We'll have collard greens. We'll have mustard greens. We'll have little stores in the community. It's a bunch of empty spaces. We'll just fill them in. We'll adapt. We'll go back to what we was doing when I was a baby. You're going to start seeing little small fruit markets popping up everywhere, little stores popping up everywhere, brothers taking their pickup trucks and stuff, shooting down to Alabama and Mississippi, getting stuff, bringing it back. Our money circulating amongst us. So this is why they want to have a cashless society, so we can't circulate our money and do our thing. They want us to be on the web. They want our money to be on the internet. They don't want us. That's why they try to get rid of cash, to try to lock you into the system. Because without getting rid of cash, we would create our own cash economy in our own neighborhoods. Which is what we're going to do anyway. We'll come out with our own currency, our own jobs. We'll pay our own currency, and our own currency will buy our own food right here in this country. We'll totally separate economically when they go to the market of beef. We'll have our own money. They'll see. We the ones made all their stuff. They don't see all of that. We made all their stuff. They don't even know. The history don't teach white America much. I really feel sorry for white America because they be lying to them. You know, they don't know the truth. They really don't. A lot of white Americans are innocent. They don't know the truth. They lied to them in school too. They really believe what they told them in school. They don't know no better. And this is why DeSantis and them is trying to burn books and get books out of here, because they don't want them to find out they've been lied to and everything. You know, who really invented all this stuff? They don't know that a black man invented the plane and mailed it and shipped it, and it came up missing. He shipped his plane to the World Fair and it came up missing. And next thing you know, the Wright brothers had a plane. Where did his plane go? To the Wright brothers and to them people. A brother made an airplane first. When you lied to, you don't get to choose you be lied to. If you undereducated, Michael, and the educated ones lied to you, you didn't choose to be lied to because you're uneducated. You don't have access to the original knowledge. So no, they don't want to be lied to. They don't. The only way you would want to be lied to, you'd have to know the truth. They don't know the truth. So they don't know they're being lied to. They really believe that's the truth. If they knew they were being lied to, then a lie wouldn't work because they would know it's a lie. The whole idea is to make sure they don't know it's a lie. If they don't know it's a lie, they don't know they're being lied to. They don't know they're being lied to. It's foundational Black Americans don't know the history. Facts. Whites ain't the only one don't know. It's a whole bunch of foundational Black Americans don't know nothing. They don't know when Black people came here or nothing. You got foundational Black Americans arguing if we Africans or Native Americans when the Blacks from Africa and the Native Americans got together and breeded together. You both of them. And you got brothers trying to choose which one you is, and you both of them. It show you the war that the descendants of slaves got with the Native Americans down south and fought, and then went down to Mexico and went down south, Caribbean and stuff. And then the army made sure they couldn't come back. Brothers don't even know that. You got brothers talking about they Moors say we ain't Africans, and all them Moors got African blood. The black Native Americans and the Africans are already breeded. You got both of them blood. Imagine thinking you got one blood in 2025. You know how slow you got to be to think that just one group of people just slept with one group of people and no men slept with no different women? Show me that today where men is just sleeping with the same women. I see men with Hispanic women, white women. So you telling me now you just doing that? You ain't been doing that? So how is you a pure Moor or a pure African or a pure anything when men been sleeping with any woman they want? Make it make some sense. Duh. Talking about you a Native American. Like all the Native Americans only slept with Native Americans. Y'all believe that? Y'all believe that Native American blacks only slept with Native American blacks? Who believe that? That's a new one. Y'all believe that? Yeah, all blood is mixed, Goshen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Because men just like women. That's going to kill religion, heritage, and everything. Sex kills all that. Sex is more powerful than religion, heritage, or anything. That's why when you got a dog, right? You got a female Rottweiler and she in heat. If she get loose and she go through the neighborhood, she gonna come back pregnant. That's the end of that Rottweiler mix. Unless she get fortunate enough to run into a male Rottweiler. But the first man she run into, first male dog, you understand? She gonna get breeded. And then you say the indigenous black fought against the dirty Moors. They fought against some Moors because Moors wasn't united as just Moors. You had these dudes was Moors, these dudes was Moors. So there was no Moors. So Moors that do this had nothing to do with Moors that do that. Because there's really no such thing as Moors. Moors just meant black. So the same way you don't got unified blacks, how could you have unified Moors when Moors really meant black? So these Moors try and make you think that Moors were actually Moors. No, Moors was a description in Europe of black people. There's really no such thing as Moors. That's a false, there's no such thing as Moors. Not really. That's why Moors interchange Moor with black, because Moor is interchanged with black. Moors was just a term for blacks used up in Europe. It didn't mean you was a part of no group. There was no group of Moors. There was no group of Moors. Until you get to Noble Drew Ali. You know what I'm saying? There was no group of Moors. Moors was just another term for black. Just like El Negro in Mexico. It was El Negro. El Negro became Negros. Negros became Nigger, where the whites couldn't speak well, and they heard them call you Negros. El Negro, they start calling you Negros, and Negros turned into Nigger. But it was El Negro. Then the whites that didn't have much education said Negros. When I used to be going down south, they were still saying that. When I used to go down south as a little boy in the early 60s, they were still saying Negros. Negros. Not Negro. They were still saying Negros. which come from El Negro. And then you had your what they called you in Asia, what they called you in South Pacific. The South Pacific, they called you Pakalolo, which means black. The Pakalolo. If you go to Hawaii, you go to Samoa, Pakalolo. Yeah, Pakalolo. No, you Popolo. Popolo, not Pakalolo. Popolo. Pakalolo is a Popolo. Popolo is a black, like berry. So in the South Pacific, you call Popolo, not Pakalolo. I got it mixed up because I used to call myself the Pakalolo Popolo. You know, when I was in Hawaii, I was Pakalolo Popolo. I'm getting mixed up. Pakalolo, you know, Pakalolo is Pakalolo. Now, not Pakalolo, Popolo. Popolo out there in the South Pacific, Popolo. We got a lot of names and stuff. But now they try to act like Moors is a group. Moors was never no group. Moors was the title the Spanish gave you. Amore. This is Spanish called you Moors. You didn't call yourself Moors. You got that name in Spain. The brothers that became Moors was fighting with Hannibal. And one of them got pissed with Hannibal. He wouldn't let him marry his daughter. So they split and they went up to Europe. And the Europeans called them Moors. But those was Hannibal's soldiers. I mean, to get a Moor to put up some money so I could take his money. There was no Moors before that guy fell out with Hannibal. And he split and went up there and up there in Europe and helped them, you know, with plumbing and clean up and get rid of the rats and all of that. They used to be with Hannibal. And so Hannibal had to go and fight in Italy without them. They went this way. He went to Italy. Then when he went to Italy, they impregnated a whole bunch of the Italian women. And then that's how you got the Black Hand. So to be in the mafia, to really be a mafia don, you had to have black blood. So that was the beef with Gotti, because Gotti didn't have black blood. So they didn't want to make Gotti a made man because he didn't have black blood. Gotti was a European Italian, but the rest of the Italians was mixed. That's why they see when people see me dressed like this, they dressing like me. I'm not dressing like them. You ever see how the old Italians had the Cadillac just like ours? Everything looked just like how we look. That's because they have black. So if you didn't have that black blood, they wouldn't make you a made man. And Guy didn't like that. So he unalived the boss. Oh, man, I hope you feel better, Josh. You know what I'm saying? But this whole situation, you know, with Target, they just made a mistake. They made an error. And now they under this regime that's taking money away from people and breaking all kind of laws. If you don't do what he wants you to do, he take away funding, and just really a big fall in America. And if America doesn't get him out of there and turn the ship around, America's going to totally fall. Because you can't have a country that's been striving so long on certain principles and bettered itself when you start getting to the 60s and 70s, and bettered itself as a nation, and then you turn all that around and start going to down, it's going to go bad. You know, the nation is going in the wrong direction. 100%. And then the false teaching about us got them attacking us, but we the holy children. That's going to go bad. Because they didn't told them somebody else is the children of Israel. That's going to go bad. Because we're the children of Israel. And the holy ones. A lot of people, and I need to talk about that on Coming to Chicago. I'll talk about this more. But a lot of people think that you got to be of the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to be the children, to be the holy ones. That's not true. Jacob wasn't the holy one because he was a descendant of Abraham and Isaac. Jacob was a holy one because he agreed to get circumcised. And when he agreed to get circumcised, that's what separated him from the animals and made them holy. And then when they went to Kemet, which you call Egypt, they taught the Egyptians how to get circumcised. And they became part of the holy ones too. So then the Holy Land became Israel, Egypt, and Ethiopia was the Holy Lands. Because that separation with God comes from circumcision. Because circumcision make you a spaceman. Your God side. Remember I told you half God, half man? Well, your God side, they technological scientists, right? One of the gods, what? Formed Adam, made Adam, then went back and did a surgery, took his ribs out. Okay, that's the one taught you circumcised. Boom, circumcised. Because you half Adam and Eve and half Lord God. So that Lord God side wants you to be circumcised to separate you from Adam and Eve. So you won't be the Neanderthal. There is no more Neanderthal. They died in the flood. You always see they keep talking about they looking for the missing link. The missing link died in the flood. We are God and man, meaning that half Lord God, half Eve. So then you had to be circumcised to show that you was a cosmic space, that you had technology, right? That's why you get circumcised, to show that you got you technologically advanced. You're not like the animals, that you're above the animals, that you're the caretaker of the animals. The animals can't get circumcised. Let's take a break, and then we'll finish. Remember, they put Joseph in the hole when he was a little boy. So now when they all came back to Egypt, Joseph said, go get your daddy. Joseph didn't tell them who he was till they came back. So when they came to Egypt to get some food, Joseph said, go get your daddy. And when they came back, Joseph said, Daddy, this is me, Joseph. But they ain't seen Joseph since he was a little kid. So to prove it was Joseph, they took him in the back room and Joseph pulled his pants down. And when they seen Joseph was circumcised, that's how they knew it was Joseph, because none of the Egyptians were circumcised yet. And that's how they knew who Joseph was. Because he showed them that he was circumcised. Look at this, it's right in the scriptures. It said he showed himself to them. And that's when they say, oh, Joseph. What they don't tell you is that the reason that the Hebrew Israelite came there, because there was a drought everywhere. So think, if there was no food and there was a famine everywhere, and it tells you about the Hebrew Israelites coming, others came too. Ethiopians came. All kind of people came. But they don't tell you that part. They just following, the Hebrew Israelites is just following their part of the story. But common sense will tell you that if there was no food nowhere, a whole bunch of people came there. And then if they became corrupt, it wasn't just the Hebrew Israelites that left. The Ethiopians left, a lot of people left. But the Hebrew Israelites just documented their story. They never documented everybody else's story. So when you read the Bible, you're reading one family and their story. Now, to get the knowledge, you got to read about the other families and their stories. So definitely, all that's going to be dropping soon. It's going to be really crazy. I'm moving all that to another channel. Okay? So all that's getting ready to be moved to another channel. So if you want to get that knowledge, you're going to have to go and you're going to have to go subscribe to my other channel for that knowledge, right? So if you want to get that type of knowledge, you got to go subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago for that knowledge. So I'm going to have a lot of different channels. I have this channel for basic stuff going on. Vegan Intel, if you want to eat right. Pharaoh said that live is going to have a lot of interviews and stuff. I'm trying to get a big interview now and live phone calls. And then all the cosmic stuff will be on Kemet to Chicago. Go subscribe. Check it out. You see what I'm saying? So you got to go and check out From Kemet to Chicago for that information, right? You chose not to get circumcised. How you chose not to get circumcised when you get circumcised as a baby? Bro, stop lying. Y'all just be saying anything. He just be saying anything. If you wasn't circumcised by the time you got old enough to make that decision, that means your mama decided not to do it. Why is you over here lying? Yeah, boy, I tell you, only on. Anyway, go subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago. Bro, let's look at this. He said, I chose not to get circumcised. If you was old enough to choose not to get circumcised, somebody already chose not to get you circumcised. That means your mother and father didn't get you circumcised. What are you talking about? Okay, so you didn't choose not to do it. Your parents chose not to do it. Your parents chose not to do it. For those of y'all out there also, when you have your baby, right, and you get your baby circumcised, get them circumcised on the 8th day. On the 8th day. Do not circumcise your son before then or after that. Circumcise your son on the 8th day. I got 3 sons. I circumcised my sons on the 8th day. And do you know on the 8th day when I circumcised them, they didn't flinch and they didn't cry? So I believe the 8th day is probably when your things start making interferon. And we could talk about that some other time. You look up interferon, Dick Gregory talked about that. So I believe that a male body starts making interferon, and that's where they make it at. It be in that tip on the 8th day. But I'm telling you no lie. My sons, all 3 of them were circumcised on the 8th day. They didn't cry. They didn't flinch. They didn't do nothing. I wouldn't lie to you. All 3 of them. So when you hear that the Hebrew Israelites used to get circumcised on the 8th day, what that tell you? It's something to that. It's something to that. I'm telling you. Man, I'm telling y'all. I don't be telling y'all no make believe. My boy I went to Hawaii with, he wasn't circumcised and he had all kind of problems. He had all type of problems. He went and got circumcised as an adult in his 20s. He had all kind of problems down there. All kind of stuff was getting up in there. You know what I'm saying? Because when you like that, you're supposed to be like an animal. You can't have no clothes on. That's why it's like that for when you be outside to protect you when you outside naked. So when you uncircumcised, that's for you a wild man. When you outside naked, and that's why it's closed up to protect it. But if you're a spaceman, you're going to have clothes on. So you don't need that foreskin because you ain't running around through the jungle naked. You understand? But I'm telling you, do it, ladies, do it on the 8th day. See? Jews are circumcised on the 8th day because it is commanded from God, a symbol of the covenant between God and the Jewish people, and represents a spiritual connection beyond the natural world. The 8th day signifies infinity and a new beginning, transcending the 7th-day week of creation, and also has a potential medical benefit due to higher levels of vitamin K and blood clotting factors at that time. Bam! I didn't know I was going to say that. Saved. Wow. Interferon. Told you. You have higher levels of vitamin K. Wow. Wow. That's deep. So you learn something every day. When you write, then study, it'll show you you're more right. If you're wrong, it'll show you you're going in the wrong direction. That just showed you that I'm going in the right direction with what I'm saying. because your body make more vitamin K by the 8th day. Yeah, well, I ain't gonna shame the brother. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna shame. I got much respect to the brother. He doing what he doing. I'm just correcting him when he said he didn't do it. His parents didn't do it, and then he decided not to do it. But he can't say he didn't do it because it's something done as a child. So when he say he decided not to do it, that's incorrect. Because by the time he started thinking, it was already not done. His mother and father decided not to do it. And then he stuck with their decision is the proper way to say it. His parents didn't do it. Yeah, the 8th day, yeah, it's in there. All my children, Michael, was done on the 8th day, my 3 sons, and they didn't cry. They didn't even flinch. And some dudes, some babies, when they get it done, as soon as they're born, they go into convulsions and everything. Go do your research. Little boys that get it done before then, they shake, they cry, they holler. Man, my first oldest son, we took him on the 8th day. I was there. And they clipped him and he didn't move. He didn't even know it happened. He didn't cry. So then I took his brother. Same thing. Then I took the youngest brother. Same thing. None of them flinched or cried. They didn't even know it happened. I swear to everything I love. They didn't even know it happened. This is something I seen myself. This ain't nothing nobody told me. They ain't even know it happened. On everything. I was amazed. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, I didn't know that was going to happen. But I had did research and found out that they said that's the best day to go. So I went with that. You know, you got to study. And I had did research. I think I had seen it on 60 Minutes, actually, where they broke that down, that the 8th day was the best. And I think I had seen that on 60 Minutes. And I never forgot it. I said, I'm going to do that. And they showed how on the 8th day they don't be having all them convulsions and all that. They don't have no trauma. I'm just telling you what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what my man was at. As a young man, I was on that. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. What I'm telling you is real. Real talk. But you know, you make your own decisions, you know. I'm not here to tell no grown person what to do. I'm just letting you know what I did. You know, you have to make your own decision. I'm not going to shame nobody for nothing that they did either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into shaming nobody over nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But my friend I went to Hawaii with, he did it later. It was definitely a problem. He was messed up. But he was having problems. That's why he had to do it. Yeah, he was having problems that I ain't going to get into, but he was having problems. You don't got to believe me. He was having problems. Serious problems he was having. Yeah, he was having problems because of that. Straight up. There go my two youngest right there. I mean, my two oldest right there. The youngest, I don't think he was born yet. The youngest wasn't born yet. I don't think. My youngest son wasn't born yet. This is the oldest in the middle. I don't know where we at. I don't know. What I can tell you, Michael, is the Egyptians adopted a lot of stuff that the Hebrew Israelites was doing. Because when the Hebrew Israelites came there, a lot of them became one. And so by Joseph being the president, you got the Pharaoh and Joseph like the vice president. And Joseph was able to, you can imagine that Joseph's input was put into the kingdom. Just think about it. If Pharaoh took Joseph and made him second in command, Joseph was powerful enough to put things into play itself. Not to mention Akhenaton's mother was Joseph's sister. So Joseph's sister and the Pharaoh at that time, she got pregnant. And then he built up her whole city and she went and had Akhenaton. And she taught Akhenaton about the one God. And that's why Akhenaton, when he became Pharaoh, he introduced the Aton, that is just one God for everybody. He got that from his mother. Joseph's sister was married to an Egyptian, but his mother was a Hebrew married to my man is slipping right now. I want to say a Memphis. I'm trying to think too much right now. It'll come to me though. But Joseph's daddy was Egyptian. I mean, not Joseph. Akhenaton. Akhenaton's. That's why the search ain't coming up right. Hold on. I searched the wrong thing. Yeah, Akhenaton's father was Amenhotep, and Amenhotep was married to Joseph's sister. I was looking up the wrong thing. I was looking up Joseph instead of Akhenaton. So Akhenaton's father was Amenhotep. Amenhotep had Akhenaton by Joseph's sister and hid them out in Tel Amara, built them their whole village, their whole kingdom, and hid her and the baby out there. Hid Akhenaton all them years until he got grown. And that's where the battle, they show you the battle, right? Where he come back to be Pharaoh and Ramesses don't like it. He want to be Pharaoh. So then Akhenaton become Pharaoh. And then he knocked down all of their idols and stuff and put up the one God, the Aton, that he learned from his mother. So that's where the Aton come from. The Aton is just one God, like his one son. So it was a sun worship. He used the sun as a symbol to say the same way the sun shine on everybody, God is for everybody. That's the Aton. It's not sun worship. The sun is just a symbol of God, meaning the way that God shines on everybody, just like the sun. You understand? So Akhenaton's daddy was Egyptian. His mama was a Hebrew Israelite. And Akhenaton is Moses. So Akhenaton, the one that left with a bunch of Egyptians, the Hebrew Israelites left. They don't tell you about the Egyptians. The Egyptians left too. Egyptians left, Ethiopians left, and Hebrew Israelites left. Not just Hebrew Israelites. A lot of people left. And they don't tell you that Akhenaton is Moses. That's what they'll tell you. So I talk about Moses was hid and all that. That's Akhenaton. It's Moses. The Egyptian, that was a Hebrew Israelite too. You know what I'm saying? You see how if you go look at the old Bible stories on TV, they show you that Moses thought he was an Egyptian. Then he found out he was a Hebrew Israelite. Anyway, we're going to be talking about all that stuff on Coming to Chicago, okay? So go subscribe to that. Go subscribe to Coming to Chicago. And that's all that information will be moved over there. I'm separating all my information. This will mostly be news and stuff going on in the world. All the stuff about ancient history, ancient Hebrew Israelites, Ethiopians, ancient, the beginning of Islam, Ishmael, and all that'll be over here. So you have to go over here to see that. And then also make sure you subscribe to Pharaoh Said That Live. And Pharaoh Said That Live will be phone call-ins and interviews. So I'm going to be really busy in 2025 with various channels. So I'm spreading my channels out. So go subscribe to Pharaoh Said That Live. This is going to be call-ins, interviews, and stuff like that. I'm not going to tell who my first interview is going to be, but it's going to be off the chain. It's going to be phone call in. You'll be able to call in There won't be no trolling. As soon as you call and you ain't know nothing, you'll be blocked. So it won't be no trolling. It won't be no arguing. It won't be no negative energy over there. Because I'm going to have too many important people I'm going to be interviewing for that. So make sure you subscribe to that. Drive that up to 1,000 subscribers. So I'll have 4 channels going in 2026. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm going to have 4 channels going in 2026. It's going to be off the chain. Because over here, it's people not open-minded. And I'm tired of wasting certain information over here. You know, everybody want to come for gossip. If I'm talking about, which is cool. But then when I'm trying to talk about eat right and stuff like that, nobody want to hear that. So I'm moving that to where people do want to hear it. So I moved Vegan Intel for those that really do want to take care of themselves. And if you don't want to take care of yourself and eat better, then that's on you. And I could cater to the ones that do, instead of trying to teach the ones that don't and don't care. So go over there too, because I need about 100 more subscribers over on Vegan Intel. If you want to try and take care of yourself, if you got people sick in the family, if you got people that you want to be able to sit down and learn about something, or come into the chat and ask questions, or is there any kind of way to help them with any ailments and stuff, this way you subscribe. So this allow me to target specific audiences that's interested in specific conversation. Because some people, that's all they interested in. So why have them over here? Why not just send them to a channel where that's it? That's what you're going to get. And this will be having interviews too. I'll be interviewing everybody that's in the world of health. This is going to be all health, exercise, fitness, natural medicine, plants, the best way to eat. All of that will be over here. So I'm separating my channels so I can get rid of a lot of trolls, and a lot of people don't want to learn nothing. I don't really got time for that. So if you don't want to learn certain things, then I won't expect you to come to that channel. Oh, that's excellent. You've been off beef and pork. You're doing great. Do you think that's why the world is turning on? I don't know. Ask me again on the, I don't know. Ask me again on, I don't know what that means, on the ish people. I don't think the world is turning on nobody. I just think the world's in a bunch of turmoil. And I think the way that black people have been identified and stereotyped, I think people stereotyping white people the same way. And just lumping them all in a group like that, which is not true. If that's what you ask me. I think lumping black and lumping white is just false information. To me. If that's what you're asking, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, though. But that's why you don't see me doing a whole bunch of race stuff like that, because that's just a false concept. Because a lot of the politicians is white, and they lumped a whole race under that. which is false. Oh, small. Well, there's no such thing as small hats like that, and that's also fake, false information. I'll be talking about that on Coming to Chicago. That's false information because the original whites that practiced Judaism, Moses went and delivered them down. So after Moses took the blacks to the promised land, then he went and delivered the whites out the Caucasus Mountains and taught them Judaism. And those were the original whites that were practicing Judaism. They didn't never consider themselves Jews. They considered themselves practicing Judaism because, like I told you, Judaism was based on getting circumcised. So once you got circumcised, you was considered the children of, you was considered under the covenant of the Most High. Didn't matter what race you was. Didn't matter what family you was from. And so the idea that you have to be a direct descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is false because Abraham and Isaac was not considered holy people. Abraham and Isaac wasn't considered holy. Jacob was considered holy once he took the covenant and once he got circumcised. And it was the circumcision that separated you with the gods and the goddesses. And so to go and spread Judaism is to spread circumcision. So Moses went up there and brought them down, and they was all circumcised. So therefore, they was under the covenant of the Most High. They would be considered Jews. Judaism is circumcision. If Judaism is a practice, then it started with Jacob. And what was Jacob's practice? Circumcision. What did Jacob do different than everybody else? Got circumcised. Abraham wasn't circumcised. Isaac wasn't circumcised. Jacob was the one that got circumcised. And then Jacob was ordered to teach that to everybody else. And so when Moses left the blacks, he went and delivered the whites out of the Caucasus Mountains and taught them Judaism. And still today, the Orthodox Jews that Moses brought down, they still denounce Israel. They're all in New York. See, they don't show you the Orthodox Jews. They show you the Israeli type. Like there's a group of European Jewish people that tell you black people are the direct descendants of Abraham. They'll tell you that. They don't show those ones. Those was the ones that they won't let go to the Wailing Wall. If anybody older, remember the certain Jews that they wouldn't let come to the Wailing Wall? Those are the Orthodox ones that was the descendants of what Moses taught them. Those was the ones. Hitler wasn't after those ones. He was after the ones, the bankers and the robbers that was robbing Germany. Those are the ones he was after. He wasn't after the real Orthodox one. They wasn't doing nothing wrong. He was after those that call themselves Jews and are not, but are the sons and daughters of the synagogue of Satan. So anyway, you got to go follow from Kemet to Chicago, and I'll break all of that really down. Because it's a bunch of misunderstandings about that. Moses brought them down personally and taught them everything personally. That's why in Africa they say no man knows where Moses is buried. And that's when you read in the New Testament, Christ went and took John, right, to the Transfiguration and talked to Moses and Elijah. See, they don't talk about none of that. All that's going to be on from Kemet to Chicago. Christ took John and went to the Transfiguration and talked to Elijah and Moses, which means they never died. Just let that sink in. All of this I'm going to cut out. You're going to have to join Patreon to see this. He took Peter, James, and John. He took Peter, James, and John with him. Here it is right here. It's a biblical event where Christ physically appearance and transformed while praying on the mountain with three of his apostles, Peter, James, and John. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became brilliant white. And he was joined by the prophet Moses and Elijah. They don't like to talk about that. So anyway, I'm going to cut all this off. You got to go to Patreon to see this. It's going to be on my Patreon at Pharaoh Said That, and you'll see this end part. But I'm going to just leave the information about Target and that stuff. That's it. That's all I'm going to leave over here. You know what I'm saying? And y'all stay positive as always. You know what I'm saying? Stay positive at all times, and make sure you go subscribe to From Kemet to Chicago. Victory.